All right, guys, here we go. Real quick market update. We're going to take a look at the S&P 500 first. It's most talked about, watched, monitored, market probably in the world, and certainly here in the U.S. So let's jump right in. Little extended above the 20. We would rather be, down here, finding support rather than up here where we've gapped up. See, in this area, gapped up again. We haven't even closed the second gap here yet, and that could be coming. But also at the same time, just know that statistically, historically, Sunday into Monday are normally a down day, for example, for Bitcoin, and then Monday's kind of a down day for the S&P 500 stocks. And that's just an average. It's not, day in, week in, week out. But anyway, we are green right now. But as you can see, let me get this from the start today. And yeah, here's, first candle of the day. Markets pulled back. We did hold just over the low from Friday, which is a positive, actually very bullish. We didn't come down here and kind of double bottom, but pretty close. And then here we are now trying to gain some traction to the upside. We do have the 20 and the 200 here on this 15-minute chart, and we're just looking at the 15, just kind of give us a look, a glance at the momentum of the market. We like to use in the 15-minute chart for that. Now, our Patreon members know that when the 20 and the 200 come together, it doesn't matter what timeline you're on, daily, weekly, hourly, 15-minute in this case, that 100% of the time, price is either going to come back under the 200 and the 20 is going to follow price to the downside, or price is going to catch support and then start running to the upside, and then the 20 is going to follow price, much higher, in other words, far and away from the 200, okay, just like it did over here. See, it comes close together, and this is, there's not too many guarantees, promises, 100% in the market, especially, crypto or, the S&P 500, for example. But anyway, this is when the 20 and the 200 come together, they will, expand, kind of a breathing in, exhaling. And when you start getting far and away from the 200, for example, the 20 here, then it'll come back in. Okay. So we're waiting for, a confirmed breakout and extension of the 20 running up, following price above the 200. All right. Hey, so that's what we're going to be looking for, near term, the next day or two. And then let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin here. And a lot of people are calling for, uh, crypto, the, bear winner, crypto winner. In other words, we're going to, the bear market, it's over, it's done. They've already thrown in the towel, sold off, or they are selling off now. And like I was showing our Patreon members, honestly, the time to have gotten out was up here. I mean, you can always get out, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you think it's going to go back to the, to the COVID lows of 2020, you think it's going to go, back to that level, then, maybe you should get out. So, but not financial advice. I mean, any of this stuff could go to $1 million or any of it could go to zero. Okay. But when you have multiple green candles to the upside, you don't want to be getting in up here well above the 20 here. You want to start thinking about scaling out. And that was the first candle that took out 1, 2, 3, almost 4 days of price action right there. So that was, if you really, then this red candle here took out that pivot. But anyway, uh, I mean, that was kind of, the beginning of the end, so to speak. All right. And then right here, this blue dash line, this low pivot here, and you'll hear me talk about pivots all the time. That's one of the most important, parts of the chart that people don't, really pay any attention to. So that's going to give you a competitive advantage little things, little, as they would tell us as we were coming up, those little Easter eggs. You can find those on the chart. No one else, is looking for them or knows what to look for, or sees them or acts on them. And I mean, that's gives you definitely a tactical advantage. But this go dash line is a measured move, and this really symbolizes a shallow pullback. Okay, so it's not over. And what I consistently have told uh, our members is that, and this is where people say you can't call the tops and bottoms. Well, yeah, we did this, and we have the receipts over on X. You can look it up that we called Bitcoin bottom down here. So we, kind of know a little bit about this. But anyway, we were in this ascending wedge, and high percentage of the time they trade sideways and then down. Okay, and I kept, telling our people that we're probably going to get, they probably want this thing to come back into about 100,000, quite honestly. And that would really, panic people. You think the sell off is big now. Wait till we start getting around 100 grand. And I could see it coming down even to 98,000 or so, come under that 100 grand. And that would really, bring the bears out. You think people are throwing in the towel now and giving up? Yeah, because of that psychological 100, getting under it would really panic the retail market. Okay, and then I would venture to guess that, or not guess, I'd venture to know, if that's even a term, that you would see the inflows into the ETS, big up spike, these big bottoming tails here where, every, institution, you know, uh, person with, that has a little bit of knowledge in the charts and what have you, and just the psychological aspect of the market would be coming in hands over fist, buying this up. So that blue dash line's a little bit of current. We're thinking that low pivot here. I keep going back to that, and this little consolidation zone over there uh, could be a target and then a bounce zone. But I do think the ultimate plan, okay, would bring us, that could be, bringing us down under, 100 grand, 98, what have you, and then run this thing up. Quite frankly, to the biggest epic, bubble the world's ever seen. And why is that? Okay. Well, my thesis is that I've never seen or never heard of in research of a market topping out with around $7 trillion still on the sideline. Normally, you have everybody in, everyone's euphoric. We're going to make, new all-time highs. Everybody, just people you run into on the street that you don't even know from day to day are telling you, hey, you need to get into this stock, you need to do that, or this altcoin is up, 10,000%, man, you need to get in. We haven't seen really any of that. And then also you have the Fed turning on the printing machine, and then you have all that money sitting on the sidelines, slowly coming in, from your CDs, your money markets, all those safe havens. And then as soon as the market starts running, that money against inflation is actually losing money. So what do they have to do? They have to push that money slowly but surely into the markets, the S&P 500 or wherever it may go. Crypto, hopefully will get a lot of that. And actually it will, because they can't run AI and all the AI stocks and everything else efficiently without Bitcoin and crypto. That's how the AI is going to communicate and transfer money back and forth. Okay, so and then also you think about it, the Magnificent Seven. I mean, they have wrung out everything they can on those stocks, all new time highs, so on and so forth. And so that's a huge bubble coming up. I mean, they could still run it higher, but there's a lot more room to move here with crypto and Bitcoin than there is, you know, um, potentially. with the Magnificent Seven and housing. Real estate is kind of in a slump right now. They, of course, ran that up to a bubble as well. So there's bubble, bubble, bubble everywhere except for crypto and Bitcoin. So that's next I think feeding ground for the whales to come out here, gobble it up, run it up, uh, to a bubble that the world's never seen, and that will be the exit liquidity when we start seeing people dancing in the street that their portfolios have blown up multiple X's. Okay, but anyway, there's a little bit more to that, and if you're tired of the frustration and emotional, games of these markets, this Thursday we're having a webinar, and I'll put the link below, and it's free, so you can come out. Uh, Hear a lot more about the charts, how to pick those tops and bottoms, and what we're looking for over the next quarter or two in these markets, S&P 500, Bitcoin, altcoins, so on and so forth. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you on the charts.